Okay.
Yeah. Look at them sending messages already. Body odor. Y'all better not.
It's a big issue here.
Yes,
That's
it
why
is.
it's a major issue. I mean, you're just in a place
Why?
and then
I
you
don't.
just get the whiff and you're like, ha.
Everything changes.
Yeah, it just really upsets the
Yeah.
whole atmosphere.
I do.
So I
Some
can,
people pass by and it's crazy.
yeah. Alright, sorry. Do you by any chance have a tissue? Okay, I have one.
Oh, okay.
So, trying to control my emotions, but
Oh,
I might
I'm sorry.
start
It's
tearing up
only.
at some point. So,
It's
it's
okay. You
okay.
can tell me if.
Do I need to wear this?
Yeah. Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. The staple singers there with Take You There. Yes, I am taking you there. And where I am taking you to, there'll be no smell, no funny smell, no funky smell, no body odor. Because right now we need to talk about it. And I have the call line buzzing. I am not sure what you want to say yet, but please just hold on. I do have messages on WhatsApp already concerning it. It's interesting. Um yeah. Okay, let me start with the message actually, because I think this is going to be a very interesting segue into what we're talking about. So this is coming from Tunji. He says, on body odor, most don't know, particularly in hot environment like we live in, and some just don't care. I once gave a youth copper a lift from somewhere in Ogun, and he was coming to Lagos and I was driving into Lagos. I had to drop him off as I felt I would die before we get to Lagos. I'm sorry. People have lost great
Ouch.
opportunities and relationship because of this. I know someone with a tested product with many testimonies, though not popular. I can send the numbers to you guys. Oh, let's just wait on that. And I no, Charles, no, no. Charles says body odor, huh? The show is gonna stink. No, no, no. Right now, you can check us out in on YouTube, and you'll see how I don't know, you cannot see the smell, so you don't see smell. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I have joining me as my special guest this morning, Dr. Folakemi Cole-Adeife. She is a physician and consultant dermatologist. You know her as the dancing doctor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you
Good morning.
so much for joining me this morning. I really, really do appreciate it. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, considering, yeah, thank you. Thank you. All right, so we are talking about body odor now. A lot of people already have ideas and experiences concerning it.
Right.
So the truth is, I was having this conversation with somebody, and that was where the topic came from. And she was saying some people came to her house and they basically she had
They
changed
perfumed the house.
they perfumed the house. She had to wear mask.
Wow.
It was that bad. And we got further into the conversation, and I said some people actually may not know they have body odors,
Yes, that is true.
and
Very
it was
true.
hard to believe. And the truth is, I also had another conversation with somebody in the office yesterday, and that was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
People do not know. So it sounded so unbelievable. Like, why will you have body odor and not
Not
smell
to know.
it?
There's something we human beings experience called adaptation, right? So when you're around a smell for a very long time, after a while, your the sensory nerves in your nose no longer pick up the smell. Just like if you're in a very dirty environment, the first few minutes that you're there, you will really be offended by the smell. But after a while, you realize that the smell is not as strong as it is. It's not that the smell is gone, it's that your nose has adapted to the smell. So people with body odor, it's like their nose adapts to the smell, so they actually cannot perceive it. And it's a very sensitive thing to talk about because most people don't know how to address that issue with people without them feeling offended or hurt. But I think it's very important, as people, particularly if the person is someone you know or work with, that the issue is addressed. And I hope that one of the things we talk about today is how to address the issue with people,
Yeah.
because the truth is they may not know, they may actually not know that they have an offensive body odor.
Yeah, yeah. That actually is one of the big issues. They do the nose is a very treacherous organ, and it just makes you feel like nothing is happening.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you pass and people are choking on your smell.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of smell, to an extent, we all have a smell.
Oh, yes, definitely. Everyone has a normal human odor or body odor, but it only becomes offensive in certain cases. And what actually causes the smell is some of the bacteria that we have on our body acts on the sweat and some of the sebum that our skin produces. So when there is a bacterial overgrowth on the skin, that bacteria can actually cause, can digest or eat up some of this substances in the sweat and the oil, and that is what actually causes, the unpleasant odor. And we have, sweat glands all over our body. There are actually two main types of sweat glands. There's
Okay.
the eccrine glands and the apocrine glands. And body odor is more associated with the apocrine gland because these are special sweat glands that are found in the armpits, in the groin area, and maybe around the breast for women. And these apocrine glands actually produce a thicker type of sweat that is richer in a lot of substances that the bacteria like to eat. So in
Yes.
process of them, metabolizing that, they can actually cause an odor. And one of the things that actually results in body odor in most cases is, poor hygiene. So one of the reasons why we bath, I recently did a video on YouTube about bathing because that has been another
Yeah,
talk.
hot topic
Yeah,
lately.
some people, abroad say they don't bath every day. Please don't try it here. But, so bathing is one of the things, and bathing properly is one of the things that can actually help to take off some of the bacterial overload on the skin, and also a lot of hygiene practices like ensuring that, we wear fresh clothes. But in situation, most of the people who have body odor would say about 90% of body odor is actually from hygiene issues. But 10% can be medical. Medical issues, certain medical conditions can cause body odor. And it's the same thing with mouth odor as well. So the parts of our bodies that tend to have a lot of bacteria, growth, like the mouth, under the armpits, the feet, and the groin area, they tend to be the areas that, result in body odor. And the reason why the armpits particularly and the groin is because of the hair. There's lots of hair
Ah,
there, so the hair actually makes the place moist, warm, and a very conducive environment.
garden.
Yes, like a very rich garden for bacterial growth.
Mm,
So that's one of the reasons why most people shave their armpits.
mm,
You find that people who don't shave their armpits have an increased tendency to having, an offensive body odor. There are some people who manage it, but you find that most people, they are not able to manage, a bushy, underarm without having some hygiene issues like an offensive body odor.
all
Then
right then.
other things I think like creams, certain creams that we've spoken about before,
Yeah.
some lightening creams and bleaching creams can also result in, an offensive body odor. So those are some of the things that we need to look out for. So if we're talking about body odor, what we really need to focus on is hygiene, personal hygiene practices, and then how to break the news. As doctors, we're taught how to break bad news, because, more on quite a number of occasions, we need to break bad news. So there's a way that you can relate, something to a person, to try and manage their emotions as much as possible. And when it comes to body odor, I think all of us have to kind of learn how to do that. So rather than talking behind the person, oh, this person stinks, try and look for how to call the person aside and say, there is, some kind of smell that comes off, that's not very pleasant. And have you considered your care practices and all? And as much as possible, try to not to use any offensive language so they don't feel hurt. But it's something that needs to be done, on many occasions.
Okay, so I don't know how else to say it to you, but please just raise your hand up Are you proud of your armpits? Does it look nice to you? And look around. If you're home, that boxers, that black underwear you've been wearing for a bit, look around, smell it. Are you proud of the smell? If not, please go and wash it. So when we come back from this break, to be inside water, this is Breakfast in Bed on Smooth 98.1. They call me M.I. Mr. Incredible. People, I remember saying something. This is a very short break though. I remember seeing something online, and the person said, "Oh, are we supposed to wash our boxers every time we wear it?"
Oh my
The
goodness.
person
Yeah,
said,
so I
"No."
think we need to address that because that is actually the problem. People reusing underwear,
Ah,
reusing clothes. In this part of the world, you can't
yes,
you can't afford to wear something more than once or twice. And if you even wear it once and you're outdoors sweaty, please just go and wash it. But a lot of people,
they
they
keep
keep
wearing.
clothes, keep
Yeah,
wearing the same. So all the bacteria on the area and everything will just keep proliferating, over time. And that's hygiene is number one. So
yeah,
there are some things we take for granted that we think, everybody knows, but actually,
yeah.
a
They
lot of people,
don't.
and then some people they know, but it's the practical way of going about it. They're just lazy or something. So
Yes.
anyway, we
When
just
it's
talk
game
about
time,
it.
it's fun Ooh, time. Interesting. And when it's fun time, it's kids time because kids think the darnest things. Because it's not magic. Like inventing the future time machine or flying to the moon with just a cape on. So I could discover new lands. The Smooth 98.1 Studios presents Curious Minds as we explore the wonder world of today's kids. I want to be an astronaut, shoe designer, fortune teller, an entrepreneur. Hear what they hear, see what they see, and know what they know. A something something or jingle. Curious Minds every Saturday from 8:40 a.m. That is not all yet. At least we are still very much here on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. Yes, you heard the promo already. Curious Minds every Saturday, 8:40 a.m. But that's starting first week in September. So all you have to do is just bring around your kids. Trust me, it's going to be a very, very fun time. Very, very fun time with your kids and get them to come listen and also answer questions. It's going to be a really great time. Now we are in the soul food segment on Breakfast in Bed, and we're talking about body odor. So before we went on the break, we already started breaking it down. And while we were on the break, I said, or before we went on the break, I said you should raise up your armpits and think, are you proud of the hair you have there? And maybe your boxers. And I said that because I saw there was a tweet I saw. I don't know if it was a tweet or I saw it on Instagram, but basically the person said, "Oh, are we supposed to wash our boxers?" I want to believe the person is
Was
joking.
joking,
That
right?
are we supposed to wash our boxers immediately once after wearing it? That it is waste of boxers. It is
Oh
waste
wow.
of that you have to wear your boxers till it
Yeah. So
smells.
that's an issue, and that's one of the reasons why we have this personal hygiene issue and body odor issue, because some of the things that we think are a given for
Mm.
personal hygiene, a lot of people are either not aware or not practicing, and you can't avoid it because in this part of the world we sweat a lot, it's hot, it's dirty, the environment is dusty, so we pick up a lot of dirt on the way, and then it's a very conducive environment for the growth of microorganisms. So washing our bodies just like we bath every day is very important. And also washing our clothing and personal and underwear particularly. I think a lot of people actually feel if their underwear doesn't have a funny smell, they
They
shouldn't
can wear.
wash it. And that's very wrong. And that's one of the reasons why you have people developing, certain offensive body odors. So I think it's very important for us to stress that in this part of the world, you should wear clothes only once. It may be a bit tedious or difficult, but that is what needs to be done. Once you go out with a pair of a shirt, a singlet, boxers, bra, underwear, when you get back, just toss it in the wash. And what I advise people to do, because they're like washing every day sometimes can be a bit tedious, is have at least 5 or 6 pairs of every underwear, so you can afford to use one a day. And then by the weekend, if you're not able to wash it immediately on that day, at least by the weekend you can wash everything and spread everything and go again the next week. So if you have more, it may help. And it just takes a bit of discipline, because I know that there was a stage in my life too that as a teenager I hated washing my I've always hated washing. but thank God for washing machines, But if you don't have access to one, then you need to just inculcate the habit of your underwear washing every day. A lot of women will say, "Oh, the bra is not dirty."
Especially when it's that black bra.
Yes, when it is black and you can't see the dirt. So you
Yes.
say, "Oh, it's not dirty. I'm going to reuse it and that's where the bacteria that is on it comes back on the skin, begins to overgrow and all that." So that's one. Then some people, like we say, they keep their armpit hair. It's very, very difficult in this part of the world to manage armpit hair without developing an offensive body odor. So it's advisable to take off the hair. It helps the sweat dry up faster and reduce, the warm, moist environment that the bacteria can thrive and result in this bad body odor. So shaving the armpits or using a hair remover cream, if you have access to laser hair removal, perfect. But just try and get rid of the hair in the armpits and also in the groin area, because it's the same apocrine glands, that's the special sweat glands that I spoke about, that are in the armpits, that are also in the groin. So the pubic hair, even if you want to leave it, try and keep it trimmed so it's not very heavy and bushy, because that also can result in, And then with boxers, and undies, you go to the toilet every day. As women, we have natural vaginal discharges or natural discharges in the anus also. When you go to the toilet, sometimes there's a bit of residue from stooling. Those things get on your undies, so there is no reason why you should repeat the use of undies, whether boxers or underwear for women or panties for women. It is like an absolute travesty in this part of in
Yes.
anywhere, because of the secretions and the discharges that come. And a lot of people, there's this controversy as well about using tissue paper or using water to clean the bum, and the truth is tissue paper is doesn't really clean so well unless you are very meticulous. So if you're using tissue paper, chances are you're going to have more residue on your bum, after going to the toilet, and that's going to go on the boxers, and that's going to go on the undies. So you can just imagine the milieu of germs that will be having a party on those. And even if the smell doesn't come immediately, ultimately the smell will come. So things like jeans, possibly you could wear jeans more than once because they're thick, and that's hopefully if you're not wearing underwear, underneath it. But you could. But most things like t-shirts, singlets, bras, tops, tank tops, and all that should be worn only once and then washed afterwards, particularly in this part of the world. Please do not listen to people in Europe or in America that say they don't bath every day. It's because their weather is cooler. They can get away with it. And then it's known that we as Africans, as dark-skinned people, we tend to have stronger body odor because we have a lot more of these, glands, melanin, the apocrine glands, and, there's a lot of extra secretion. So our body odor tends to be a bit stronger. Then I spoke also about food. There are certain
Ah,
foods that can
yes.
actually increase, body odor. Things that contain a lot of sulfur, when they're broken down, they can actually, get off in the sweat. And there's sulfur in eggs, there's sulfur in
Beans.
beans, yeah, cabbage,
Fish.
and things like fish, things like that. So if you eat a lot of those kind of foods and you're not drinking enough water, chances are sometimes some of the amines and sulfur in them will actually, be excreted through the sweat, and that can also affect the body odor. In for people who take a lot of strong spicy foods like garlic
Ah,
as
yes.
well, so we have our friends from the Indian subcontinent. We notice
Yes.
that because they cook with a lot of, garlic,
Yeah.
they tend to have their own odor is like a garlic odor.
And all those, yes, spices.
Yes, and the spices. So if you cook with a lot of spices and you eat spicy food, particularly things like garlic, turmeric, ginger, it may tend to have, that kind of, odor. And then for some people, like I said, a very few small percentage of people have medical conditions,
Conditions.
causing their body odor. Things like some form of liver disease and some forms of kidney disease, that may actually, give a particular odor on the skin. So if there are other symptoms, tiredness, leg swelling, or any discomfort, it will be good if the body odor, after taking care of hygiene, it will be good to go for a medical check, full medical check, to make sure that everything is fine with the body and all. So that's the thing. Then people need to learn the difference, that there's a difference between deodorant and
I was actually
antiperspirant.
going to ask you that. Yes. So the difference between.
Yeah, so the
Oh.
deodorant just masks the smell, so it's like it masks smells, but antiperspirant reduces sweating. So the less you sweat in those areas, the less likely you're going to produce food for these bacteria. Some of these bacteria are actually normal, healthy bacteria on the skin, but in some cases they tend to overgrow. So you want to make sure that you um, try as much as possible to reduce, or make the bathing will actually reduce the load of the bacteria. And then when you use the antiperspirant, it minimizes sweat in those areas, so you don't sweat as much, and therefore you will not have the tendency to have a body odor is reduced, or an offensive body odor. So using something that's both a deodorant and an antiperspirant is important, and is more effective than using just a deodorant, for your on your skin, particularly the
Yeah.
armpit areas.
Thank you so much for that really comprehensive breakdown. I have them quickly take this one from Kewe. He says, "Hi, I am Kewe. Some people don't even know they have some. Some people don't even know they have, and some don't shave regularly, and that can cause body odor and bathing irregularly." Yes, we talked about that. Yes, we are seeing you typing. Yes, we're seeing you. All right then. So, is it true? Some people have said that the fatter a person is, the higher their chances of having body odor. Is that true?
Yes, it is true. Being overweight or being on the big side can actually increase the risk of body odor, and that's because when you're overweight, you tend to have more folds, and the folds, provide a very conducive environment for these bacteria to grow. So imagine, I was on the big side and I had folds in my armpit, so the bacteria can hide in those folds, and they can actually proliferate more. The same thing with the tummy. So when some has a tummy fold, that crease underneath the pot belly can be a very conducive environment for that. So yes, and then people who are on the big side tend to sweat a bit more, in most cases. So that excess sweating also can result in more food for the bacteria to use, and cause an offensive body odor. So yes, that is actually found to be true.
All right. Let's go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll be taking your questions. I'll open the phone line so that you can call in. And yes, we'll continue the conversation about body odor.
98.1. Love music, love life. Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life.
What does future forward banking mean to you? Speed, innovation, convenience, lifestyle goals, or just simply getting service that is designed just for you? Yeah, we thought you might like all of that and more. That is why we specially created Providus Bank for you to take care of your daily experiences. At Providus Bank, we believe that banking should be all about you and your business and how to get you to the next level. If you do not already
Xavier.
have a Providus Bank account, please speak with our business concierge on 0700 77 387 or email businessconcierge at providusbank.com to switch to a future forward banking experience. Providus Bank. Future forward banking.
Hi, my name is Lindsay Abude, and you're tuned to.
That's right. That's the dial. Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. A quick call. Let me see. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Hello. Good morning. What's your name? Daniel. Where are you calling from? Yanokpaja. What do you have to say, Daniel? You said you're just calling to. Oh.
I think he said he's a new time or first time caller.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, thank you so much for calling, Daniel. I should, if you call back, I'll give you a round of applause. Yeah. So, let me go to this question from Xavier. He said, Good morning, and good morning, Shiwan, our dancing doctor. Morning, Ma, I see you. Thank you so much. I'd
Thank
like
you.
to ask people who sweat a lot like me, is it an outward thing or an inside thing? I mean, does it have to do with food or just a skin thing? I remember I had Dr. Shakirat,
Shakira
yeah,
Gold, yes.
yeah, talk about hyperhidrosis. All right, do you want to briefly
Yeah.
answer that?
Well, some people just have a natural tendency to sweat a bit more. Just like we have different skin types, different skin colors, different behaviors. Sometimes some people, their own DNA or genes are programmed to sweat a bit more. In certain cases, it could also be as a result of medical conditions, like people who have hyperthyroidism tend to sweat a bit more, but by and large in some people it's just a natural variant. So if you sweat a bit more than others, you have to be a bit more concerned or pay more attention to personal hygiene, because excessive sweating has an increased risk of having an offensive body odor. So you want to make sure that you bath regularly. When I spoke about bathing on YouTube, I said people who sweat more are people who may need to bath twice a day. Not everybody requires a twice daily bath, but if you're a heavy sweater, it's actually better that you do that. And make sure that anti deodorant, antiperspirant deodorant, and then things like socks. Socks is another thing that causes offensive body odors. There's some
Ah,
people that when they pull their shoes off, it's like a
you run
bomb.
away.
Like a bomb just hits the environment and everyone has to take cover.
Mm.
So, and one of the reasons for that is, a lot of sweating on the feet. And, you don't air your shoes because the shoes, another warm, moist environment that bacteria and, can grow and proliferate. And then just like underwear, if you keep wearing the same socks every day, you just keep increasing the bacterial load, instead of reducing it. So one of the ways to take care of that is make sure that you wear a new pair of socks every day. Yes. Another thing that you need to do is wash your socks. Unfortunately, you have to try as much as possible to avoid reusing socks, particularly if you have sweaty feet. And then there are powders and deodorants for the feet as well. So if you put a powder in your shoes and then when it's really sunny, you air your shoes outdoors in the sun, it will reduce, the conducivity of, the environment in your shoes for bacteria to be able to proliferate. So that is one thing that can minimize, the foot odor. And then also washing your feet. Once you get home, you just put your feet in and wash them and make sure that, they wash off the smell, air the shoes, use a foot deodorant, use a foot powder, and that can also minimize, the foot odor as well.
All right, thank you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your
Good
name?
morning.
Well, I will prefer to remain anonymous, please.
Okay,
Okay.
anonymous, but where are you calling from?
Okay, I'm calling from Egbeda.
I need you to turn down the volume of your radio set, please.
Okay, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but I can also hear myself in the background. Okay,
Okay.
just turn off whatever it is that is producing that
Now
sound.
can you hear me?
All right, this is better. All right, so anonymous, what's your question or what do you have to say?
Really, it's not actually a question, but I think I really want to appreciate you ladies today. Our beautiful doctor and dancing doctor. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much for the enlightenment this morning. This ego has actually been a very big issue. I once met somebody like that, and it was the very first time we actually met. In fact, I couldn't stay with her
Ouch.
for 30 minutes. I have to dictate her that please, I have a program to attend. Please, I have to just to go.
Wow. Yeah,
Well,
that's a problem.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, I didn't know that things like this are still existing even in our days. I mean, it's very unfortunate. So, anyway, thank you for the watching the air for us today. I appreciate so much.
thank you. Thank you very much for calling.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's the truth. I mean, in 2021, it would be expected that a number of people would take their hygiene more seriously.
Yes, that's true.
And things like this should no longer, okay, even if they're still around, but at least not a big issue. But no, you will find out that you will enter the elevator after somebody has entered and
And yes,
you will want to
it's
run away.
yeah, that is true. I've met a few people who give the reasons that they feel deodorants and antiperspirants are harmful to the health,
Yes.
and that's why they don't use them. So I've met one or two people like that. I had a staff who does have an offensive body odor, and we've had to address the issue. So I sat her down and spoke with her, and she did mention that, she was told that those deodorants can cause cancer, and also she doesn't use any, you know. So I told her that that is not true, that studies have not shown that it causes cancer. And, if there are some people who prefer everything natural, in quote.
Yeah.
So there are a few natural remedies for people who, there are some people that no matter what you tell them, their belief is their belief. So they're not.
Right.
So to save the rest of us,
Save
I'll
the
just say,
planet.
yeah, that these natural remedies, they don't always work, but some people have had some relief, and they are effective for some people. Things like apple cider vinegar can be used to clean, the armpit area. Some people also use alum. Basically, what those things do is they reduce bacterial growth. If you want to look at the scientific basis of it, apple cider vinegar is strongly acidic and will make it difficult for any bacteria to grow. So if you do apply that to the armpit area, it can help. But you cannot escape in this part of the world, leaving your armpit hairs, to grow wildly like a wild forest. It's just going to be, an incubation area for, bacteria and for smell. That's one thing. And I think a lot of females, you know, I know a lot of females, we don't wash their bras. We don't wash their bras. Yes,
Everybody is being called out today.
a lot of females use the bra 2, 3, 4 times,
Mm-hmm.
and that can also result in an offensive odor, and then washing of clothes. And then a lot of females now use lightening creams.
Yeah.
So the combination of the lightening creams with the poor hygiene can produce a very catastrophic odor that, like the gentleman who just called, can be completely unbearable. And some people have said this affects people's, job seeking
Yeah.
opportunities, because if you go for a job interview and you've perfumed the interview room with some serious smell, chances are you're not going to get that job, no matter what you say. So personal hygiene is very important, very, very important, in our environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So please take note of all that. The men first, whoever started that notion that men should not shave, please, let's just demolish it. Let us abolish it. Everybody should shave.
Oh yes, particularly the underarm hair,
Yeah.
mainly because of the odor. The hair on its own doesn't do it, but the fact that it produces an environment that bacteria can grow is the main reason why people need to shave, and to avoid having an offensive body odor.
Yeah. And the ladies too, please, you should. I know maybe the reason you'd stock up on a lot of black bras is because you don't want to wash them regularly. But no, please. And another thing is that because you want to hide the smell, you now spray a lot of
Spray,
perfume.
yeah,
That is just
it
going to
doesn't
create
work.
another disaster,
It
a
doesn't work.
catastrophe, like
It
Dr.
doesn't
Folake
work.
said.
It
I,
doesn't work at all.
I have a message from Ali from Apapa. He says there are some people, or there are people who prefer everything natural and think that the deodorant cause some form of cancer or metal in the body. I tend to go natural sometimes, but natural can be quite tasking and will
Mm.
leave one making a mess before going out. I have tried lemon or lime with baking soda and they actually do work, but I can't use the same mixture the next day. It will have gone bad, but it does work. All right. You were talking about ACV. Actually, I think ACV has even a funny smell when you use it.
Yes, but the smell doesn't last that long.
Okay.
If you just pour, it's not that you're going to use it. You have to dilute it because it's actually quite strong. And then just use that to clean the area. Like the gentleman said, some people use alum, some people use baking soda and lime and all that, and they do work. But are you going to do that every morning when you're having a bath? So,
Yeah.
and yes, like we said, the deodorants and antiperspirants, some people are wary, but there is really no evidence to state that. But if you must go natural, then you have to be ready to do that process on a regular basis and all. And then some people say, oh, one of the reasons why they use antibacterial soaps is because of this, but it doesn't really provide any extra benefits from regular soap and water. And sometimes the antibacterial soap can actually eventually increase, the tendency to having body odor because it will upset the normal flora on the skin. There are some normal bacteria that we have on our skin that are like the good guys, and we want to have a lot more of those ones than the harmful bacteria. So when we use the antiseptic or antibacterial soap, sometimes we can disrupt that normal balance, and you have some of more of the bad guys and more of fungus, and that can actually cause more of a body odor. So a
Be guided.
gentle toilet soap, plain toilet soap, is enough, just as long as you bath regularly and frequently, and you don't need to douse your bath water with antiseptic solutions either. It may actually in the long run cause more harm than good.
All right, then.
So gentle toilet soap to wash is what is advised or recommended.
Okay, let's go on another break, and when we come back, it will be the final stretch of this conversation, talking about body odor, what you can do, and then when we come back, we'll be talking about just general treatments and every other thing. I mean, we've already talked about the fact that 90% of this body odor emanates from hygiene, and we have shouted and told you and pleaded with you, go and shave, go and wash your boxers, go and wash that black bra and every other thing. So we'll just talk about the other things that we have not mentioned. This is Breakfast in Bed here on Smooth 98.1.
Hello, everybody. I'm Colin Jessica. Stay tuned to Smooth 98.1. Love
And
music, love life.
we have clients
Sorry?
we have clients that are antibacterials.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So shouldn't talk too much
Let's
about
not
them.
talk too much about it. Sadly. You know, the truth actually is that Nigerians believe every once you hear antibacterial, it keeps you clean, and that's one of the reasons we scrub and
No,
scrub
it's
and
very
scrub.
true, but actually they don't work,
Yeah.
and they cause more issues. I think then it's NAFDAC that should regulate and talk to people
Actually,
more,
yes.
because in other parts of the world they are no longer allowed.
Maggie, cook the difference. Smooth.
Yeah, smoother than a fresh jar of Skippy. This is Breakfast in Bed here on Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. Hello, good morning. No, not that noise. Hello. Please turn down or totally turn it off. Yes. Hello, good morning. Yes, what's your name, please? Ikenna. Where are you calling from, sir? Okay, what do you have to say this morning?
smells that come from their groin area. Because kind of be real at this point.
Mm,
At times I have female friends who complain about the smell around them. How do they how can it be better than
hmm. All right, thank you very much. You will answer that. Okay?
Well, so like I said, the groin area has the same kind of specialized sweat glands that the armpits have, and so they tend to have more of an offensive odor. It's very important hygiene. Like we said, make sure that you wash daily and also change your underwear daily. Please do not repeat underwear. Try as much as possible not to repeat trousers, particularly these days that we wear very tight trousers. You want to try and just use once and wash. So that's one thing. Another thing is a lot of women do what we call douching or douching, which
Yeah.
is trying to wash inside of the
Or
vagina
even
and
steam it. I
yeah,
don't
and steam it.
get.
And some of those things actually are harmful and can actually result in infections because it has a normal, the vaginal area and the groin area generally has a very normal have normal bacteria that live in there that are meant to protect it and keep it acidic so that other harmful bacteria cannot grow and live there. So when you do the douching and washing, you take out the normal bacteria, that is called the lactobacilli and some other bacteria that help to keep the area acidic. And that then allows other, and change the pH, change the acid nature of the area. And that allows other bacteria to then grow in there that can cause a fishy, so you have some people having that fishy odor in that area, and that can be, very, and also an infection, so it may also lead to excessive bacterial growth. That's what we call vaginosis, bacterial vaginosis. And you want to, as women as well, shaving the pubic area is quite important, to reducing the load of bacteria that live there,
Yeah.
around the area. So washing regularly, not using, reusing underwear or reusing jeans or pants, particularly if you're the kind of person who doesn't like to wear underwear, then you have to wash, you can't reuse. And like I
Okay.
said, another thing is cleaning the back area as well. When you go to the toilet to do number two, you have to learn to wipe from front to back,
Back.
and not from back to front, because when you wipe from back to front, you're bringing all the germs and the bacteria in the poo into the vaginal and vulvar area, and that can also result in an offensive smell and infection. So learning how to wipe properly and clean properly is also very important to preventing, smell in that area.
All right, thank you so much. I hope that answers your question at ABC, because you talked about vagina discharge, how best it should be cared for. Cared for, rather, yes. So I hope that answers your questions already. Wow, that is comprehensive. Now, if you have a question or a contribution, I have just some minutes to take them. 014489981. Again, 014489981. Hello, good morning. Good morning. What's your name?
So I'll just call the one.
Okay, all
Just
right.
want to find out.
Okay.
Are the conspirants anti-conspirants they use what for
All right, thank you.
No, they are not designed to be used around the groin, but they are actually groin area deodorants, specially made for the intimate area. So if you go shopping, you can actually look for intimate area deodorants that are specially designed for the groin area, and you can use those. I just remembered also that when it comes to female odors, sometimes it could actually be an infection, like what we call thrush, and there could also be other things. So if the odor in, down there is really offensive, I would recommend that the person sees a doctor, probably a gynecologist or a dermatologist, for a review, to make sure that they don't have maybe like an infection or something else that needs to be addressed.
All right, thank you so much. Another call, if you want to call in, the number to dial is 014489981. Again, 014489981. And then if you want to send your WhatsApp message, it should go to 0809 We're streaming live on YouTube. So afterwards, if you're just tuning in, this is Breakfast in Bed. It's a soul food conversation, and we're talking about body odor. So if you have missed out the last 47 minutes, it's totally fine. You can go back to the video on YouTube. Hello, good morning. Hi, what's your name?
my name is Monday calling from Adibone.
What? Amadu?
Monday.
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 Okay, all right. So Monday, what do you have to say?
It's like I just feel it was like it's all over my body. Mostly the leg part, like something like give me this kind of disgusting odor. So you know solution for that.
Sorry, I didn't hear what he said
He's,
very
he's,
well.
he sweats on the
Okay.
feet, and so because of that, it smells.
Yes. Yes, so for very heavy sweating, as we spoke about earlier, on your feet, if possible, try not to wear covered shoes as much as you can. If you can wear open sandals, so that more air can get into your feet. But if your job does not permit you to wear open sandals, you need to try and get soft cotton socks and wear them only once. And then every time you get home, you put your shoes in a dry area or out in the sun to dry. You can also get a foot powder, which yes, which can reduce the moisture in your shoes, and also absorb some of the sweat and the smell that you may have when you wear covered shoes. So those are some of the ways you can actually sanitize your feet. And sometimes you may just need to throw away those shoes that are really smelly and get new ones, because it may be totally difficult to actually get rid of all the bacteria, that is hiding in the crevices of the shoe, particularly if you can't wash them. If you can wash them, fine, but if you can't wash them, try and get new shoes, new socks, and start over, and then also wash your feet regularly, dry them appropriately, use a foot deodorant and a foot powder.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, have a good one, Monday. Bye. Thank you so much. Last call. If there is any other person who wants to call, yeah, or you ask a question rather, and there is a contribution, something you want to clarify. I just have one more space. 014489981. Again, 014489981. Do not forget that this conversation is up on YouTube, and you can go watch it, and just send it to somebody. Hello. Good morning.
Just trying to take advantage of this.
All right.
Mm.
You are welcome.
I just want to know intimate deodorants or deodorants or something. I want when is this something one can get in any pharmacy store or something? Is it the first time I'm hearing of it?
Yes, most big supermarkets you can actually find them. They're usually called, well, they're not made. I've not seen any for men, but I've seen for women. They're called feminine deodorants. When you check, you look. If you go to any big store, you could find them. They're usually feminine deodorants, and they're designed specifically for the in growing area.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
What's your name?
My name is Declan Bo.
Okay. We
I'm
understand.
calling from Folakemi.
All right. So, what do you have to say?
I just want to add that for me, the shoe odor, because I have access to alcohol, ethanol. You can, when you come back, you can wipe the inside of your shoe with 70% ethanol, because it's antibacterial. It helps to kill the bacteria within your shoe, and then it's easier for you to wear the next time. I don't know, maybe because I have access to alcohol all the time, and that's what I do regularly.
Okay.
I took the wool with the ethanol and use it to wipe the inside of my shoe on my feet anytime I come back.
All right. Thank you. She will give a balance to that. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, sorry, 70% ethanol usually is like methylated spirit. So
Yeah.
yes, it can have some antibacterial effects. It's also very drying on the skin,
Mhm.
so you want to be careful so you don't dry out your skin too much. But I mean, that's what is in most hand sanitizers we use these days,
Yeah.
so that's actually he's correct. You can use that to, um, you know, clean your feet and, wipe your shoes and then put it somewhere for it to dry. So
All
that
right.
you just have to be careful with that so that you don't expose it to any flammable area, so that you don't have any accidents.
Okay. So, last question from Xavier. He said, "Ma, I want to ask, what of camphor? How effective is it with regards as putting it in shoes, boxes, and crevices?"
I wouldn't advise you to put camphor on anything on your body. Camphor contains some substances that can be harmful to your skin if absorbed into the blood.
Mm.
So you don't want to put camphor so directly onto your skin. So I would advise that you don't put camphor in your shoes or in your boxers. You can put them in the wardrobe like what people do, because what they do is they help to, prevent insects,
Mm.
from coming into the clothes and things like that. So they repel insects basically,
All right.
but they are not advisable for direct skin contact.
And it is on that note that we have come to the end of today's Soul Food conversation. Thank you so much, Dr. Folakemi. It's always a pleasure to have you
Thank
here.
you. I just want to say one more thing, that
Okay.
try to talk to a friend or someone you know that has an offensive odor, because they may actually not know that they do. But say it nicely, or send them a message if you can't talk to them face to face. Say you need to work on your personal hygiene because sometimes you have, an offensive body odor. And trust me, people will pay attention to that once they know.
And give
Yeah.
them a hug in the process. Just don't make them feel bad. And please, saying that you have body odor is not something you say to get back at somebody when you have a
Yes, when you have,
fallout.
exactly,
Do not do that,
it needs
please.
to be done out from a place of care and from a place of concern, not from a place of malice or from malicious intent.
And I know some people who say that if you don't want to say the words, just keep giving them gifts of perfume and deodorant.
That's possible too. But like we said, if you don't work on your personal hygiene, those things will not work. They will not
Yeah.
going to change it.
Thank you so much again. You can follow the dancing doctor on Instagram and keep up with her. That is at Flaky Dancing Doc. That's FL. I got it right.
Yeah.
So spelled as FLAKYDANCINDOC. Flaky Dancing Doc. That is Dr. Folakemi Adeife. No,
Cole-Adeife.
Cole-Adeife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all so much for being a part of the conversation. Coming up is the 9 o'clock hour, which of course is the Smooth Explorer. I do have my guest, and you want to join in the conversation. Just come with your questions, your contributions, and whatever it is that you want to give to Naomi Mack. This is Breakfast in Bed here on Smooth 98.1.
Thank you.
Thank you. I
Thank
think
you
we do have
too.
some people there. Let me guess.
Okay.
Hi. Sorry, just a minute.